When I was studying in Rome, I did a course on Judaism in the Gospels. And as a field trip, we went to a Friday evening Sabbath service at the Great Synagogue in Rome. And of course, those of us who were quite carefully instructed about how we were to behave, how we were to conduct ourselves. One of those, of course, was making sure we covered our heads. And so there's a lot of thinking among us about what would be appropriate. Do we actually go and find a proper yarmulke, or do we just wear a hat or a cap or something like that? And so we all turned up with our headgear. And as we were taken in by the kind couple who were hosting us into the synagogue for the service, we saw a big box with paper hats in them for us to pick up as we go in. They were at the door. "Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding garment?" Because that's what happens, the wedding and the wedding garment. If you don't have one of your own, don't worry, we'll provide one for you. It's all part of the hosting that a wedding brings. And it's only something like, almost like a bouquet or something like that, to celebrate, to join in, to show that you're part of the celebrations. Don't worry, if you don't have one, there'll be one at the door to pick up. And yet, this man, this strange figure, chooses not to do that. It's like the people who don't put on the party hats out of the crackers at Christmas. Except it's more serious than that. The man doesn't pick up a wedding garment, seems not to want to join in. But what's the problem? What's the problem? Well, it's the human condition. Isaiah, in his vision of the mountain of God and the feast of fat things, speaks of the end of days when the Lord will look after us and there will be joy without end. That's the whole point. This is our God, that we have waited for him that we might save us. Let us be glad and rejoice in his salvation. And yet, humans don't want to go. We are suspicious of joy. We're suspicious that it's just an illusion, that all of this pure joy that's offered will actually really come to an end, or will turn out to have been fooled by it. It's not idle that it's this image of the mountain that once we're at the top of, we worry that we'll be asked to come down again. So, because of that, going to these things, it's all a bit of a hassle. We make up excuses so we don't risk this experience of disappointment. And so these people who've been invited and yet turn away, and in fact behave very sinisterly and kill and beat the servants who've gone to ask them to come, are struck off the list, as it were. And so God gathers in instead as many as you find. So it's indiscriminate. The list has been turned around. It's everyone who's not on the list that gets to come. And importantly, both bad and good. Well, this should tell us something about the joy offered to us by God. It is not the well who need a physician, Jesus says, but those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. And St. Paul, in his experience of being right at the bottom of that mountain in his work as a missionary to bring the gospel of Christ, leading to his martyrdom. He's at the bottom of the mountain, but he's confident. I compare the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory to be revealed to us. God offers to sinners, so that is everyone he can find, a wedding garment of eternal joy. So why don't we take it?